Auto lenders. They are absolutely transparent about absolutely everything. As New Jersey's #1 pre-owned car dealership for more than 10 years, Auto Lenders places every car through an intense 110-point inspection to ensure it's in like-new condition and lets customers know exactly where their vehicles are sourced from. Auto Lenders gives you the highest quality vehicles, unlike their competitors. And all this transparency helps Auto Lenders make sure you leave with a better car. For more information, call 888-305-5968 or visit www.autolenders.com. Keep My Office Clean is an emerging leader in providing office cleaning solutions in Morris County and its surrounding area. If you own, rent, or manage corporate space, then you understand that keeping the private and common areas clean and well-maintained helps create a pleasant and productive environment. Keep My Office Clean is one of New Jersey's top emerging cleaning companies, specializing in providing a wide range of services for your office space, including recurrent cleaning, carpet cleaning, floor waxing, power washing, and more. For more information, call 862-263-0626 or visit www.keepmyofficeclean.com.
You are listening to the New Jersey Business Podcast with your friend, host, all-around good guy, Paul Valverde. Now, on to the show.
What's shaking New Jersey? Welcome to another episode of the New Jersey Business Podcast. Here's your host, Paul Valverde, and today as special guest, we have Keri Cooper. Keri Cooper from Keri Cooper Holistic Therapy. Keri Cooper is also a licensed clinical social worker and author of the book Mental Health Uncensored, 10 Foundations Every Parent Needs to Know. Keri, welcome to the show. Thank you very much for joining me today. It's a great day to have you. Would you please share with our audience something about yourself?
Hi, thank you so much for having me. It's great to be here. So a little bit about me. I have been living in New Jersey since I was probably 8 years old in Bergen County primarily. Spent a short amount of time in Philadelphia for college and graduate school, but quickly came back to my roots because I love it here. So I have my own practice in Ramsey, New Jersey, Keri Cooper Holistic Therapy, and I specialize with working with teens and college students regarding their mental health. And I wrote a book because during COVID, mental health was just through the roof. And there's only so many people I could see at one time in my office. So I wrote a book, Mental Health Uncensored, 10 Foundations Every Parent Needs to Know. So that's a little bit about me in a nutshell.
Thank you very much for sharing, Keri. So there's good information you've given us, and I want to make sure we unpack all of that.
Yes.
First of all, I'm sure our audience are interested to know how is it that you went into the field of mental health or becoming a clinical social worker?
So I was really lucky that I always knew what I wanted to do in life. I struggled through high school. I did not do well in school. It was just all a challenge. And I always kind of wanted to be able to be that person to help somebody who was going through that. I had a lot of friends who were struggling as well. So when I went to college, I knew I wanted to do something in the field of being able to help others. And I've always connected with the teen population. I feel like with teens, you either love them or hate them. There's very little in between, and I happen to love them. So I knew that that's what I wanted to pursue. I went on to graduate school to get my master's, and I immediately jumped into the field working with teens. Never did I think I was going to be a business owner and be able to create my own business and be my own boss, but that is what's happened over the years, and I couldn't be happier.
Is it common for licensed clinical social workers to have their own practice, have their own business, or would they generally work with other organizations or corporations? How is that field in general usually in terms of employment or being entrepreneur? How does that work?
One of the great things about being a social worker is that they are in so many different places. They're in hospitals, they're in, I just noticed my light went off. Let me see if I can fix that real fast. Nope. They're in hospitals, they're in corporate settings, they are in schools, they're everywhere. And many of them are in group practices, and many of them also have their own private practice as well.
Okay, so many of them do. So not everyone takes the entrepreneurial route of starting their own practice.
No, not at all.
What led you to making that decision?
I was somewhat forced to because I'm not your typical therapist. I take a much more holistic view. I look at what are you eating? How are you sleeping? How much screen time do you have? And all of these foundations are in the book, Mental Health Uncensored, because they're so important to mental health. So I knew that I didn't fit into the standard practice. So I really had to go out on my own in order to do what I wanted to do. I also even went back to school to become a certified health coach because food is so important in the world of mental health. Our gut really makes most of our chemicals for our brain. A lot of people don't know that. So if you're not eating well, there's no way you're going to feel well.
I love that you take that holistic approach. Shouldn't say I always, but I realized at one point in my life that I couldn't compartmentalize aspects of my life and think that one aspect wouldn't have anything to do or affect the other. And so I realized that everything is connected because I'm one being, one person. And certainly I realized that my relationships, my interactions, the way I spend my time, the things that I eat affect me overall. And I love the fact that you take that approach as opposed to just addressing one aspect. You address the entire individual in order to help them improve their mental health. I think that's wonderful. And I as a parent of teenagers,
Mm-hmm.
I love the fact that through your book, you provide the tools necessary, the foundations that are necessary in order to assist our children. I could share with you that not only due to the pandemic, but it's just times are different nowadays, and they're always changing. And sometimes you think how to best be there for your children, and then you realize you come short and you find yourself in need of help and aid, such as the book that you've written. Is so important. We want to see our children thrive. We want to see our children healthy in every aspect. And so I'm very appreciative to the fact that you've put this together, this tool or this tool set for individuals such as myself. And I can tell you that as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, as a person who has a lot, many things going on, and most of our audience are in the same situation. We also want to make sure that we measure up as parents, that we find success as parents, and a tool such as the one that you're providing through your book. It's just something amazing. So I just want to say thank you for that. And I also would like to ask you about the stage, what was it like in the beginning to start your own practice? Just because I feel that our audience are going to connect with that, because we all been through that beginning stage of putting something together.
Oh, it was such a journey. So when I started my own practice, I still had very, very young children, and I was primarily at home with them. So what I would do is I would use my husband's office at night, and I would go there just a few hours and see my clients. This was not the ideal therapy setup. I was like in a conference room, not in your typical therapist office. But like I've always said, I could do therapy in a conference room. I could do it on the beach. I could do it on a mountain. It doesn't matter where I am. So in the very beginning, I didn't want to spend money on my business. I didn't understand the value in that, to be perfectly honest, in the beginning. So I made my own website, and I'm not tech savvy. I had my friend take my pictures. It was a bit of a mess, but people found me because people were searching for somebody with a more holistic view. So when they found me, word just spread, to be perfectly honest, which was amazing. But it was still very small. And it wasn't until my youngest was about to go off to kindergarten and I said, okay, let's see what I could really do with this, that it started changing. And I realized that I have to invest the time. and the money to build my business.
Right.
So me and my husband actually together found a new office space that would accommodate both him and myself. So I was able to use it all day long. It's a beautiful space and I love it. I hired a team to do my website because I know what I don't know, and I know I don't know tech.
Right.
I had professional pictures done, all of that really started shaping my business. And I started networking. I started spending the time to meet other business owners in the state of New Jersey, which was amazing. It is such a great group of people who just want to help everybody succeed. And before, I was so isolated in my practice, I knew nobody. And, it's one of those communities where if you need help, if you need a service and you just ask, people are willing to help you. So ask for help. Don't reinvent the wheel.
I love that you mentioned that because many of us have tried to do that, right? And it's so overwhelming in the beginning. You feel that you need to be uh, a pro at graphic design, a pro at taking photo or video, a pro website design, et cetera, et cetera. We coach our people through this phrase. If you got a problem that requires money and you have the money, you don't have a problem, right?
Right.
It's not the how, it's the who. It's not, how do I do this? I need to know. It's a huge learning curve to learn everything from scratch. No, it's who do you know that can take care of that for you? And it takes, for many of us, and I experience the same thing as you have, it takes time to realize, like, you know what, that's something I can delegate to someone else. I could pay someone else to take care of that for me, so I could really focus on my business and on the people I serve and take them to a new level. Thank you for sharing that, Keri. I appreciate that because I know many of our audience can connect with that. Keri, so pandemic starts, you realize there's only so many people you can see through your practice, and you want to reach a broader audience. You want to provide help and aid to the many people who are out there, the many parents who want to see their children thrive and healthy. And so you start writing a book. Is that how it went? Do you work with
Yes.
previous notes? How do you come about through that? How was that process like of putting that together?
So when the pandemic hit, I was still doing individual therapy. And I also have something else in my practice called a parent strategy session, which parents come in, and no matter how many, parenting books you read, even mine, every family is very different. So I have this program set up where parents will come in, spend 2 hours with me and go through a roadmap of how to change what they don't like, what's happening in their house or what's going on with each kid individually. And they literally walk out with a roadmap of what to do. But even seeing parents and, teens, I could not see enough people. I was getting phone calls left and right. The pandemic hit families incredibly hard. It hit parents hard. It hit the teens hard. And more people needed help than I was able to see. So in the past, I've always blogged a little bit on my website. And I said, you know what? I'm saying the same thing almost constantly to these kids and to these parents about the foundations of mental health. And I just need to write it all down. I need to reach more people. So it took 14 months for me to write this book. I've never written a book before. So this was a whole new process for me. I loved it. I'm definitely already starting on another book now. I'm working on a workbook for teens. And, the book is really out there, Mental Health Uncensored, to help the parents realize just the simple foundations they could put into play to help their children and really themselves as well with mental health.
Keri, how do you boil down to 10 foundations? I'm sure there were other foundations that
Yes.
that you have knowledge of, that you've learned over time, that you share with your clients. What was your thought process in order to consolidate those foundations into a group of 10?
So half of them are physical and half of them are more mental. And they really came from me realizing that if these 10 principles were in place, if these kids had this down, life would be so much easier. Okay. So, one, for example, is exercise. You need to be moving in life to feel good. When you're laying in your bed all day, when you're not, exercising, when you're not getting outside, you are not going to feel great. So that was one of the big principles, because kids, when they did start exercising, they were proud proud of themselves. They felt good. They felt accomplished. And it was really changing the way they were, handling themselves on a daily basis. So that was one of the foundations I put in there.
Yeah, I think that is so important. And sometimes I think even as parents, we find ourselves in the situation that we may not be holistically healthy, right?
Mm-hmm.
But we want our children to be holistically healthy. And so I think a challenge to us, but a positive challenge, is that we want to work on those areas as well to lead by example. And I think your book, not only does it provide the 10 foundations for parents to help their children, but it's also going to help us as individuals to grow. Because as I was saying before, we can't compartmentalize our lives. Like, you cannot say, I'm a great parent, but a horrible human being. Like, you can't, right? You have to be all good in order to be also a good parent, etc. So I love the fact that even though it is intended to provide the 10 foundations for parents to help their children or to understand their children, to improve their mental health, it's also something that is going to help parents for themselves.
Absolutely. One of the foundations I have in there is saying no. We have to teach our children to be able to say no. And that's actually really important for especially moms as well, because I see the moms who say yes to everything and they're drained, and then they have no patience and they're not feeling fulfilled and they have no me time. And your children are watching that.
Yeah.
So it's so important for the parents to also take these foundations and to make changes in their life as well.
Certainly. Thank you very much. I really I'm looking forward to reading the book in detail. I've read the overview, the summary of the book, and I was very intrigued by the topic. Again, being an entrepreneur, being a parent, that's an area where I want to excel. I know our audience identifies with this as well. Keri, so how do you go about bringing clients in or reaching out to clients? What methods do you use to do that?
One of my core beliefs in my practice is that every single client needs to feel valued. That is top. If nothing else is going right, that needs to go right. Every single client needs to feel valued. And I think when they feel that way, they then spread your name around. So I don't really advertise. I don't need to. I have clients who just tell people about me. And that is, the...
Thanks for tuning in to today's show. If you or someone you know would like to be a guest on the show, go to NewJerseyBusinessPodcast.com. That's NewJerseyBusinessPodcast.com. We can't wait to hear from you and your business. You can also visit our website to learn about sponsorship opportunities and how to qualify for a complimentary gift. Thanks again for listening to the New Jersey Business Podcast.
Auto lenders. They are absolutely transparent about absolutely everything. As New Jersey's #1 pre-owned car dealership for more than 10 years, Auto Lenders places every car through an intense 110-point inspection to ensure it's in like-new condition and lets customers know exactly where their vehicles are sourced from. Auto Lenders gives you the highest quality vehicles, unlike their competitors. And all this transparency helps Auto Lenders make sure you leave with a better car. For more information, call 888-305-5968 or visit www.autolenders.com. Keep My Office Clean is an emerging leader in providing office cleaning solutions in Morris County and its surrounding area. If you own, rent, or manage corporate space, then you understand that keeping the private and common areas clean and well-maintained helps create a pleasant and productive environment. Keep My Office Clean is one of New Jersey's top emerging cleaning companies, specializing in providing a wide range of services for your office space, including recurrent cleaning, carpet cleaning, floor waxing, power washing, and more. For more information, call 862-263-0626 or visit www.keepmyofficeclean.com.